Hello everybody, welcome to Nexti's Daily News Analysis. Today 17th of November, Monday, we are going to discuss major news articles which are published in the Indian Express and the Hindu. So before we begin to the news articles, I want to read out a very beautiful quote. A door is much smaller compared to the house, a lock is much smaller when compared to the door, and key is the smallest of all, but a key can open the entire house. So this means to say that we have so many complex problems in our life, obviously, but you must note that to all these complex problems, there would be one small simple solution. Okay, so even after so many problems that you have, try to find that one simple solution and you will be able to unlock all the potential that you have. With this note, let's start the news analysis. So today we'll see that there are a good number of good articles published, and in this there are prelims oriented and mails oriented articles. So as the prelim season is coming, it is in the vicinity. So we will try to focus more on the prelims based articles, and also we will also have a good analysis of the mains oriented articles as well. Okay, so the first article that we are going to discuss today is about MGNREGA. So Center is conducting the revision of the MGNREGA list, and in that MGNREGA list during the eKYC verification, we saw that around 27 lakh beneficiaries were excluded. So before we get into the article per se, now this is a prelims question. I want you to pause the video, and after pausing the video, I want you to attempt this question, and the answer for this question will be will be provided to you at the end of the video. Okay, so now, nearly 27 lakh workers were removed from the MGNREGA database between October and November, and this occurred due to the government center, which is the central government. Recently, around 27 lakh workers were removed from the MGNREGA list, and this list revision comes with the integration of the eKYC and also the Aadhaar enabled payment system. Okay, during this revision, we saw that around 27 lakh workers were actually removed from the list of the MGNREGA. Okay, so now before getting into the actual issue, we will have to know about what is the MGNREGA all about. So MGNREGA is one of the core schemes, and in this we will see that if I am actually applying for this scheme, applying for the work, then within 15 days I'll have to be provided for the work. If I'm not able to, if the government is not able to provide me the work, then it has to give me the compensatory pay. Okay, so it will provide you around 100 days of wage employment, and it is usually for the unemployed allowance, and the work will be given to you within the 5-kilometer range of your house. Okay, and this wage usually has the wage rate will be of gender parity. Okay, and now in this we will see that around the 1/3 of the jobs are actually reserved for the women. Okay, so now what are the challenges that we are seeing? Okay, usually it is one of the largest scheme that is running in the country. Okay, in this we will see that there is an insufficient of budgetary allocation. Along with that, there is a timely payment issues, and also the planning and execution. Okay, and usually in the MGNREGA you will see that some tangible assets are created in the that will actually act as a precursor or the ampulator for the sustainable development occurring in the village or rural areas. Okay, so now because of the payment issues and because of all the challenges, the government is trying to integrate the digital reformation with respect to the Aadhaar enabled payment system, and for that to happen, the eKYC norms have to be updated. Okay, so now this is one of the very important article which was the second article that we are going to discuss today is about Article 32. So Honorable Chief Justice of India Gawai has given a statement with respect to Article 32. He says that the Article 32 enables people to approach Supreme Court for the fundamental rights. Okay, so now it becomes imperative for us to know about Article 32, and it is very important article, and UPSC has previously asked question on the Article 32 itself. I want you to pause the video and attempt this question. Okay, so now based on the statement given by the Honorable Chief Justice of India, he says that it is born out of the India's struggle for independence. You can use this line in the introductions or conclusions or for your enrichment of the answers. So he says that it empowers the individual to approach the Supreme Court, okay, and he describes that it is the heart and soul of the Indian Constitution because it is a fundamental right protecting all the other fundamental rights, okay. So now it is enshrined in the Constitution, the part 3 of the Constitution, and which empowers the court to move, individuals to move to the Supreme Court, okay, and the court can issue writs for the enforcement of the fundamental rights, okay. And we will see that these are the constitutional provisions exactly, and the enforcement of the Article 32 occurs through the writs, and there are different sorts of writs, out of which there is the habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, quo warranto, and prohibition, okay. So these are different type of the writs we will see, and habeas corpus is asking for the presence of the body. If a person is illegally detained or something like that, then you will see that the court will ask for the habeas corpus, court will enact the habeas corpus writ. And next is the mandate. So mandate, what it compels? It compels the public official to perform a duty within their official capacity, okay. Now next is the prohibition. It prevents the lower courts from the exceeding their jurisdiction. If you see that there is a court or a public authority which is exceeding their jurisdiction, now through prohibition it can actually prohibit the any extra legality that it is crossing. Now certiorari, the certiorari, it quashes the order of the inferior court or the quasi judicial body, so saying that you will have to certify that you are in the legal purview of whatever you are operating. And now the quo warranto, it inquires into the legality of the holding of the particular office by a public official, if he is or not, if he or she is or not, okay. Now so we will see that we have seen that so many case laws were actually present in the evolution of the Article 32, out of which you will see the Ramesh Thapar case and the Keshanandi Bharati case, or PUDR case, which is the concept of public interest litigation, actually expanded from the PUDR case, and well-known Aadhaar judgment, that is the Puthuswamy judgment, actually expanded the Article 32 range, okay. Now the next article is about the Comptroller and Auditor General, okay. So now CAG is going to assess the ease of living in the 10 major cities, okay. So now this is one of the previous year questions which were asked with respect to CAG. I want you to pause the video and kindly attempt this question, okay. So CAG is going to assess the ease of living of the 101 major cities of India, okay. So what is ease of living? Ease of living in simple words, if you want to say that, how well you are going to live in a particular city, okay. That will include very crucial aspects such as the environment, that will include the business aspect of it, that will include the infrastructure aspects of it, that will include the commutation aspects of the living. So these are all the aspects that are considered with respect to the ease of living, okay. Now UPSC has also asked these sorts of mains question with respect to CAG, okay. So I want you to just look at these and if possible try to attempt them, and we will see the basic aspects of the CAG. CAG is a constitutional position, okay, and it was established in 1948 through the Article 148 of the Indian Constitution, okay. And the major job of the Comptroller and Auditor General is to audit the state and the central accounts, okay. So now what are the powers, functions and responsibilities? You will see that ensuring the transparency and accountability, audit the central and state accounts, now audit the Consolidated Fund of India, contribute to the improving the governance and support the proper execution of the investment, and helps in the fight the cases of the courts in India. He can appear in the parliament, he can appear in the he can represent the government in the Supreme Court or in the High Court, and it contributes to improving the governance and supports the proper investment and check on the wasteful expenditure, okay. So the next article that we are going to discuss is about right to good air. So we are seeing that the AQI is nowhere less than 500 in the vicinity in the Delhi or in the NCR region, okay. So now this becomes very imperative for us to see from the rights perspective that where the right to good air stands in. Okay, so now these are a few PYQs. I would want you to pause the video and try to attempt these questions. Okay, so what's the news is about? The news is about the right for the good air days. Okay, so as a citizen, you are entitled to have a good health. Okay, so and right to good health is provided under the article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so now this article tries to compare that how the international practices such as London, such as Beijing, how they have taken the right to good air into their constitutional mandates, and they have improved their condition. Okay, so now we will see that the environmental justice is a constitutional right. Okay, so article 21 actually inherently states that the right to life and personal liberty includes right to health. Okay, so right to safe health and right to safe environment. Okay, if the state is not able to provide the right to if the state is not able to provide good environment, then it is a breach of the environmental justice, and consequently it is a breach of the right to life. Okay, so now that being said, the Supreme Court actually concluded stating that the state has to provide the good environment, right environment for the exercising the article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so without good health or without good environment, the liberty, personal liberty, can't be fully exercised. Okay, so this is what the article is also saying about. So we will see that it is derived from the right to good health. It is a precursor to the right to life, and it is linked to the right to clean environment. Okay, so inherently what I meant to say is that the personal life and liberty, okay, that would be inherently incompetent without good health and good environment. Now that being said, we will see that there are a number of cases with respect to the right to good health being part of the right to life and personal liberty under Article 21, out of which the Subhash Kumar case and MC Mehta case, MC Mehta series of cases. Okay, if you are quoting this MC Mehta series of cases in your answers or your introductions or your conclusions, then your answers will be very enriched. So the next article that we are going to discuss today is about the Gen Z protests in the Mexico. Okay, so we recently saw that in our neighboring country Nepal, there was much turmoil, much chaos, and after that much chaos, we saw that the government itself was overhauled. Okay, so UPSC might ask these sorts of questions such as recently where did we see the Gen Z protests or any political turmoil, something like that, because UPSC has previously asked questions with respect to Sudan, questions with respect to Venezuela. Okay, so now reading these sorts of news becomes very important for us. Okay, now, so these are the previous questions. I want you to pause the video and again attempt this question. Okay, what actually led to the Gen Z protests in Mexico? Okay, there is a debate with respect to saying that the opposition is actually fueling all these protests. Okay, irrespective of that, you will see that there was a killing of Carlos Alberto Manzo Rodriguez, and to their atrocities of these drug cartels is going on very high scale, and the violence is very much seen in the Mexico. And to oppose against this, the Gen Z has taken to the streets. Okay, so we don't have to go much into the details with respect to this article. Just seeing that there is a political turmoil going on in the Mexico, it becomes very imperative for us to see what countries Mexico is bordering with. Okay, out of this you will see that the major country is the United States, and after that you will see that the Guatemala and Belize. You will see the mapping of Mexico, and we will see the countries actually bordering with the Mexico. You will see that the United States, Belize and Guatemala, these three countries share the land boundary with the Mexico. This is more than enough for this article. Okay, so now the next article that we are going to discuss is about the TB, tuberculosis occurrence in India, and this article says that the burden of TB has been reducing. Okay, so now UPSC has asked with the questions with respect to the diseases of the various diseases affecting the humanity, and I want you to pause the video and attempt these questions. So what's the news? The news is about the reaching the elimination targets of the TB in India. So India aims to eliminate tuberculosis by 2025, but you will see that India has somewhere around 27% of the world population affected by the TB in India. Okay. Now, so what is the challenges with respect to TB are there? That it is the diagnosis is very late. Even after the diagnosis, you will see that the treatment becomes a major issue, and palliative care becomes a major issue with respect to the. So we will see what exactly is TB. Tuberculosis is a bacterial disease. Okay, and it can be very fatal when it is not treated. Okay, so it is spread through the water droplets. Okay, and this much information with respect to TB is more than enough, and it can be cured by the antibiotics when administered for around 6 months period. Okay, this article actually highlights about the changing trends with respect to the TB in India. Okay, we are seeing that there has been a slight decline in the number of cases with respect to the TB in India, okay, because of the various programs that the Indian government has been rolled out, okay, of which DOTS program, DOTS program, which is a 6 months program against the multi-drug resistant bacteria of the tuberculosis. Okay, so it is a bacilli bacteria. Okay, so with respect to the treatment of the tuberculosis, there will be somewhere around 6 months treatment that needs to be taken, and the government is actually providing the various schemes. For example, Nikshay Poshan Yojana, which is especially for the to cover the nutritional requirements of the TB affected patients. Okay, so the next article that we are going to discuss is about Tier 2 bonds. Okay, so this article actually describes and delineates what exactly is Tier 2 bonds and how it is important for the economy. Okay, so now you can see that UPSC has previously asked questions with respect to the bonds and all these derivatives. So I want you to pause the video and attempt these questions. So what are Tier 2 bonds? These are debt instruments issued by the banks to raise capital for the business operations and must be issued for a minimum period of 5 years. So what are the benefits of the Tier 2 bonds? Now they strengthen the capital base and long-term stability, and they are used to meet the regulations of the capital requirement according to the Basel III norms. Okay, so this much is very important, very much required for your prelims preparation, which is the Tier 2 bonds are long-term bonds which are issued for more than 5 years. Okay, and these form the very strong base for the capital for the banks. Okay, so what is internationalization of rupee? So before knowing what is internationalization of rupee, we need to know what is internationalization of currency per se. So the currency is a medium of exchange that we all know. The more the number of countries which are actually trading in a particular currency states the acceptance of that currency. Okay, so we see that usually US dollar is being used for the trade purposes, for the exchange purposes all across the world. Okay, so mostly all across the world. Okay, now with the recent current events such as the Ukraine war or sanctions of US or so and so not, whenever there is a volatility with respect to the US dollar exchange rate, you will see that it will be very hard on our pocket. Okay, that will increase the current account deficit. Okay, so now what Indian government is trying to do now is that we are trying to get above this volatility. That how to get above this volatility? To make Indian rupee more acceptable to the world. That is known as the internationalization of rupee, which means the acceptance of currency or Indian rupee currency as a medium of exchange across the borders is known as the internationalization of the Indian currency. So now what is the advantages of the internationalization of the rupee per se? Now it will reduce the dependency on the dollar. We will be shielded against the volatility of the exchange rate of the dollar. Okay, and it will actually improve the hard power and the soft power, and it will also improve the value of Indian currency. So we will see the difference between the Vostro accounts and the Nostro accounts. So Nostro accounts is nothing but, see, now we will have to see that our, okay, so the Nostro account is our account and Vostro accounts is your account. Okay, now our banks own account in foreign currency with another foreign bank, that is known as the Nostro account. On the other hand, what is Vostro account? Vostro accounts is nothing but an account maintained in the local bank account maintained in the local bank for a foreign bank. Okay, that bank is opening account in the foreign bank is actually opening an account in the local bank. Okay, and now in the local currency, that is known as the nostro accounts. So now for the push of the internationalization of the rupee, the government has actually changed a few rules. Before, in the vostro accounts, the extra money that was there, that was present in the vostro accounts by the other countries during the trade, now what the government has done is that it has eased the norms. Okay, now before, it was the extra money which was present there was to be invested only in the government bonds, but now what it can invest in is the commercial papers. It can invest in the other bond market as well. So the next article that we are going to discuss is about the protests which were organized by the Munduruku indigenous people at the COP, UNFCCC COP, which is occurring in the Brazil. Okay, so UPSC has previously asked about the indigenous people which were in the news. Okay, I want you to please pause the video and attempt this question. What are the demands of these indigenous people is that the pristine environment has been damaged by the developmental process. Okay, so Amazon forests, which are actually called as the lungs of the earth, are being damaged by the oil exploration and the timber exploitation and the highways and roadways. So to protect their own pristine environment, these tribal people are actually protesting. So what we have to know in this news is that the indigenous people of Munduruku tribe are present in the Brazil region. That's it. So let us see a few features of the Amazon forest per se, because UPSC might give a few facts and ask you to judge the merit of the statement. Okay, and you'll see that it covers around the 40% of the South American land, and it is home to around 10% of the world known species, and around 80% of the food we eat has its origin in the rainforests, and including the chocolate. Okay, and you will see that around 0.4 thousand indigenous tribes are actually present over in the Amazon forest. Okay, so yeah, these are a few facts with respect to the Amazon forest. Now there is a map point question that we need to see over here, is that the Amazon forest is covered in different countries. So what are these countries? We will see a bit of mapping with respect to the Amazon forest. Okay, Amazon forest covers these few countries such as Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, French Guiana, and Suriname. Okay, so these are a few countries with which the Amazon forest actually shares the border with. Okay, so the next article that we are going to discuss is about the Senkaku Islands. Okay, so Senkaku Islands are actually islands located in the South China Sea. Okay, and UPSC has previously asked a question with respect to Senkaku Islands because of the issues between the Japan and the China. Okay, so this is one of the previous year question. I want you to pause the question and try to answer this question. These Senkaku Islands are actually are a major issue between the Japan and China, as I have already said. So China has this policy called as the 9-line policy. So it states that the previous kingdoms which ruled China, they actually conquered a few islands, and it states that all the islands which are present in the South China Sea and a few islands in the East China Sea they come under the dominion of the China. Okay, out of which the Senkaku Islands comes under this 9-line which is proposed by the China. Okay, so it is not much of importance. Just for the mapping point of view, we need to note about the China Senkaku Islands. Here you will see that this is the East China Sea, and you will see here that is the Senkaku Islands in the East China Sea, and you will see that there is a 9-line which will pass through here like this. Okay, so yeah, so the next article that we are going to discuss is about digital personal data protection rules. So we see that there was an act enacted in 2023, and upon which UPSC has also asked a mains question on this. So now very recently government has rolled out the rules with respect to this. So why it is important? So why it is important is because it is the first standalone data protection law of India, and it aligns with the India's legally and operationally with the global data privacy norms. Okay, and it makes the privacy and data protection not just as the policy per se, but it makes it as the rights of the citizens. Okay, so and now when the government has roll out the data protection rules, it is very important for us to know what exactly it is about. So now, what are the key facts with respect to these? In 2017, Supreme Court actually declares that right to privacy is a fundamental right, and after that, in 2018, we see that there is a Sri Krishna committee recommends a new law, and in 2023, the multiple draft bills were rolled out, and out of which the DPDP Act 2023 was enacted, and in 2025, we see that the DPDP rules are being enacted out. So now, what are these rules? Now, in these rules, the government has actually specified a few things. What it has specified? It has specified that the citizens' rights and the company obligations, the penalties and state exemptions. Okay. Now, what are the citizens' rights? It is a right to access personal data, right to correction of errors, right to data deletion, and right to data portability. Okay. And the company obligations. What are the company obligations? The company obligations are to obtain explicit consent for the data collection. What are the company obligations? To obtain the explicit consent for data collection, and to implement the technical security measures and conduct data impact assessment. Okay, what are the penalties? Up to 2% of the annual global revenue, and the liability of the third party if there is any misuse. Okay, and there are a few state exemptions as well, where for the public health emergencies or the judicial proceedings or the national security operations. Okay, now, so if there is any requirement for the national importance, then the data might be disclosed. Okay, but now with these rules, we will see that the amendment to the section 13 of the Right to Information Act, in that amendment, you will see that it is not possible under the name of the right to privacy, the data can be denied under the Right to Information Act. So this is one of the major issues that being there. Okay, so what are the key facts? The data fiduciaries, which are nothing but the companies which collect the data, they must meet core obligations now. Okay, some provisions like a data protection officer appointment, which might be delayed to 2026, because government has actually asked them, okay, you can take some time. Okay, now the consent manager platforms to help the users control their data income activists. Okay, so now these are the few things, and now what are the implications of this? So now the governance and the regulatory framework are going to be different now, and now you will see that the policy shift towards the privacy is growing, and now the in the economic perspective, you will see that it is more data driven and innovation impact. Okay, now, and after that, what are the challenges? You will see that the RTI Act, which was amended, and that is going to be a major issue with respect to privacy. And next one is the state exemptions, which will come in conflict with the judicial's implications. Okay, so now what would be the way forward? The way forward would be, now we need a balance. We need a balance where we are balancing the right to privacy of the individuals and also the right to information. Okay, so we need to find a few mechanisms where the correct balance has to be reached. Okay, and now we will have to adapt to the international forums and international guidelines. So we need to adapt to the we need to adapt to the international best practices, such as the EU rules or the taking the examples from the Bletchley Convention. Okay, so yeah, the next article that we are going to discuss is about POCSO Act. Okay, so this article is very beautifully written, and it raises one of the major issue, that is the gender neutrality with respect to the sexual offences. Okay, so now what this news is about? Okay, so there was a particular case where the act per se mentions that the victim and the perpetrator, the victim as she and the perpetrator as he. Okay, so now based on this, when the case was filed against a woman, okay, now that the woman is arguing that the case actually particularly says that the word he, and hence I can't be prosecuted. Okay, so now that brings us to the discussion of the gender neutrality, which is actually a norm in the POCSO Act to stand in the legal jurisprudence. Okay, so that is the actual major issue. But you see that when the POCSO Act was actually enacted, during its enactment, the gender neutrality was the major point that was discussed. And okay, after so many revisions and so on, we saw that the gender neutrality, okay, after so many discussions and after so many drafts, we saw that the gender neutrality with respect to children, the sexual offences, was made to be one of the major contentious issue. Okay, so now what are the issues of contention over here? Here in the BNS section 63 is very gender specific, which states that the perpetrator, in the case of rape offences, the perpetrator as a man and victim as a woman. On the other hand, the section 3 of the POCSO Act, it says that the section 3 uses the word he to refer to the perpetrator. On the other hand, the section 13 subclause 1 clause 1 of the General Clause Act says that the words importing the masculine gender shall be taken to include females. Thus legally he or she, unless statute specifically states otherwise. Okay, so the literality, if you take the literality of it, it is he. On the other hand, the actual soul of the act says that it is very gender neutral. Okay, so now that being the major issue. Now we will see what are the key provisions of the POCSO Act. It says that it defines what is the various sexual offences against the children and provides for the penalties, and it is gender neutral and it applies for the both boys and girls under the age of 18. So according to this POCSO Act, you will see that the who is considered to be children, actually this was asked by the UPSC, is anyone who is below 18 years of age. Okay, and now it is mandatory for the reporting, and it asks for the child-friendly procedures. Okay, so now we will see the success of the POCSO Act. So here the cases are to be disposed within the 1 year of the date of cognizance, and next the prosecution rate has conviction. So in the prosecution, the conviction rate is somewhere around 34.3%, and there is a steady increase in the case registration from the 32,608 in 2017 to 51,863 in 2022. Okay, so yeah, now the POCSO, what are the issues with respect to the POCSO is that now there is so much of underreporting. Okay, and now the investigation delays are there, the standard SOPs are actually not followed, and also you see that there is a lack of awareness, and the prosecution rate is only 33 or the conviction rate is only 33%, which means that there is so much of delay, and there is so much of issues with respect to the implementation of the act per se. Okay, so yeah, that being said, so what will be the way forward? The way forward is to now court or the parliament has to particularly form rules with and if possible delineate what exactly is the gender neutrality clause per se, and after that here the Supreme Court actually can form a committee or give guidelines on making the act as a very gender neutral. Okay, so that can be a way forward. Fine. So the next article that we are going to discuss today is about the maternal undernutrition. Okay, so India is one of the hotspots for the maternal undernutrition. Okay, that has so prolonged effects not only on the maternal health but also on the children health. Okay, so India is said to be the capital of anemia. Okay, India is said to be the capital of maternal mortality. India is said to be one of the hotspot for the infant mortality. It says that the undernutrition and underweight is a very big public health concern with respect to the females in India. Okay, now here 18.7% of women are actually underweight. Okay, and what is one of the major reason is that the undernutrition, diseases, and improper dietary care. Okay, now we will see the major indicators with respect to the maternal health. MMR is actually 97. Okay, 97 per 1 lakh. Okay, and yearly it is estimated around 22,500 maternal deaths per year is occurring in India, and what are the major causes for the maternal mortality rate in India is the hemorrhage, hypertensive disorders, sepsis, infection, okay, and preeclampsia, eclampsia. These sorts of other issues are there. So based on this maternal mortality, the government has actually provided for different sorts of schemes, okay, and now these sorts of these schemes are the Janani Suraksha Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana, okay, Lakshya scheme for the improvement of the quality of care in the labor rooms and everything. So there are different sorts of schemes which are actually there for the maternal mortality, improving the maternal health in India. You will see that there are very much lacunae in the maternal healthcare in India, okay. So now that being said, now what has to be done right now? So now we have to understand that the maternal health is very important, okay. Now this affects the intergenerational issues, okay, such as the diabetes, hypertension, or genetic disorders, okay, and protein energy malnutrition that we see in India is because of the maternal health issues, okay, and also the healthcare that we give for the mothers, okay. So now what can be done over here? So we need to have a bottom-up approach where we'll have to see for each district, each village, the Anganwadi workers or ANMs or nurses who are the core ground workers over there. They have to actually go and see where the particular issues are there, and based on that there needs to be a bottom-up approach of the policy making and the implementation, okay, that has to be done, and the reporting with respect to the deaths and what are the pain points in the deaths and how it can be improved are to be taken care of. So Kerala model of maternal health is very good, and that can be used as a case study per se in seeing that the maternal mortality has been reduced to very low rate. And also in Telangana there is one program called as Amma Lalana program, which actually gives all the aspects with respect to covers all the aspects with respect to the maternal health. So for example, providing the protein nutrition, it covers for the post-maternal it covers the post-maternal nutrition, okay, up to 6 months. Thank you so much. You will see the answers rolling out right now.